How do I pray? I just talk to God.
Prayer for me is just communicating with God, speaking exactly as I'm speaking to you now.
I pray first thing in the morning, but also when I'm driving.
I pray by talking to God and sometimes writing it down.
Start talking and trust that God's listening.
I like to pray in lots of different ways, sometimes quietly on my own, sometimes loudly with other people, sometimes I just listen.
Post-it notes. Sometimes I pray on my own, sometimes I pray with friends, sometimes I write my prayers down as well. If I'm struggling to know what to pray about, sometimes I write a few thoughts down.
I like to pray in silence a lot of the time and try and listen. I think of prayer as not just being about talking, but about listening as well. So when I pray, I like to try and just listen at the same time.
It used to be like phoning a friend and leaving a message on the answering machine, but then I realised that praying is about being in relationship with God, and being in relationship with anyone is a two-way conversation. So it's about listening as much as it is speaking.
I pray like I've got an invisible phone, so like it could be when I'm at home or when I'm walking. So if you see me on the street talking to myself, I'm not talking to myself, I'm praying.
Beginning of the day, being quiet, reading some passages set for me, and then bringing the day before God, and then being still and listening.
I pray in the morning, I get a brew, go up to my room, and I pray to God. I tell him about things that I'm struggling with, thank him for things, simple things that he's given me that morning, night before, and I read his word to try and strengthen me so I glorify his name in a day.
I don't say much. I generally pray very quietly. I'd like to start by just taking a minute to remember that I'm not just sitting in a room and waiting for something to happen, that I'm there with God and he has something to say. And I usually start just by listening.
It's not just about words. Sometimes it's just seeing God in creation and in pictures or films, and just listening to what he's got to say.
I pray everywhere. I pray in the morning, I pray in the evening, I pray in the day, I pray when I drive, I pray when I walk. Often they're short prayers, but I do pray almost in every situation.
I pray as if I'm just having a conversation with my father. So it's very personal, it's very exposed, very vulnerable. It's also quite creative because God knows my heart and he speaks to me in a way that I understand, so I like to dance when I pray.
I'd love to be my grandma, who says that she sits up every morning with a list of people to pray for and goes through it, but maybe I'll get there when I reach maturity.